Hello, good morning or afternoon or wherever you are watching this. My name is Brenda Mendoza. I'm a K through 12 ELL specialist. I teach 4th grade bilingual, and I'm also a teacher coach for Challenge Learning with the James Nottingham group. Additionally to that, I am also the Illinois ASCD Whole Child Leader. I am also on the board for Illinois ASCD, and we work on promoting the whole child throughout Illinois, as well as choosing whole child schools throughout the year. My article is all about decelerating teacher burnout, and this topic was near and dear to me because 2018 was a very difficult year for Mrs. Mendoza. I think that I was the type of teacher that was constantly hustling and working and making things happen all the time, and I felt like if I wasn't busy, I wasn't accomplishing things. And so it caught up to me. Raising 4 children, having all these different positions, curriculum positions, I was consulting for a while. It really all caught up to me. It was so much that it started manifesting itself in my health. So the first thing that ended up happening is I started gaining a lot of weight. That was just what I would do. I would eat, right? And then after that, it started with feeling really dizzy and uncomfortable and just feeling strange in my body. It lasted like this for about 3 years. Then back in April, I found out I was expecting our first little girl. Her name was Judith Mendoza. And unfortunately, by July of 2018, after 15 weeks of carrying our little Judith, I miscarried her. So that was not the worst. That was not the peak of my stress or of my teacher burnout journey. That was just the tip of the iceberg. Shortly after that, August 7th, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And at that point, I came to a realization that the way I was living my life was going to probably shorten my life. So at that moment, I realized that I needed to focus on my self-care and on my priorities and my goals. So this is why I wrote this article. It really drove me to think about what is happening with teacher burnout and how can we decelerate it? How can we make it stop? And so I'm not an expert on the subject. I'm just sharing what I experienced and how I manifested teacher burnout. And so the article I wrote for ASCD is about teacher burnout and talks about a lot of various factors that are involved in teacher burnout. But mainly the things that kept coming up is we have a lot of demands, right? There are state, federal, district, right, mandates that we have to abide by. And we're trying to meet all the goals everywhere. But it's important that as educators, we try to narrow our focus on something that we can do, that's something that's tangible that we can do. For example, our district goals. We are directly correlated with those. We need to focus on our district goals. The state and the federal can wait if we can just narrow the focus to what our district wants. What does my district want? We're working on challenge learning. We're working on creating dialogue with our students, challenging them through the learning pit. We're starting to try many new things with our EL students, and I'm really excited about this time. So again, narrowing your focus and focusing on what your district mandates are. Another thing that kept coming up is demoralization. Teachers don't feel like they're being heard or their values are not being aligned with what the state or district is asking for. So you really have to find a place that you are aligned with. In my district, I love challenge learning. I love the fact that we have cultural diversity and that my students' background is valued. My voice is valued. And that's extremely important. You need to align with a district that has the same vision you have. Another thing I talked about is how how I connect professional development with teacher burnout. It's important that you choose the things that are your passion. I love culturally responsive teaching. I love talking about culturally diverse text, about how EL students can be supported through academic language strategies. I love literacy for ELs and biliteracy, and these are all things that I'm passionate about. So it's important that I find time to be able to get professional development that is tailored to me and my students and my community. So again, talking about all these different aspects of it, it's important, and I just want to keep it short and focused. It's important that we narrow our focus. It's important that we look at demoralization. Are you being respected? Is your voice being heard? Then we also need to focus on the next one, which is aligning. Okay? Everybody's using the word hustle, 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 but I'm going to tell you right now, you need to align yourself. Aligning means that you know when it's time to rest and you know when it's time to say no. And that's extremely important that you start using your voice for that. Alignment is more important than hustling. Okay? And also having a routine. Every morning I wake up at 5 a.m. I have my morning coffee. I listen to the news. I need that to center me. Then on my way to work, I listen to a meditation video that helps me get motivated for my day. It helps me, again, focus and keep me here in the present, very mindful. Then I have all these self-help books. I listen to podcasts, I read books. I try to better myself, because if I'm not okay, the community around me is not okay. The other thing is your professional development. It needs to be aligned to what you personally want to learn and how you can empower your students. So I'm going to repeat again, how to decelerate teacher burnout. Check out my article. I'm talking about narrowing your focus, aligning yourself instead of hustling, making sure you have self-care, have solid morning routines for your self-care, and make sure that you're not being demoralized in your profession. And in addition, it's important that you have professional development that meets your needs. Have your voice heard. Peace.